Hey everybody, what's up? Code Monkey Mike here. So I wanted to talk today about high interest savings accounts and the best accounts you can get in 2022. Now, unfortunately, as you know, high interest savings accounts over the last couple of years haven't been, well, too high of interest, right? You know, it's because of economic factors and the Fed lowering their interest rates to near zero and so on. But that was just a way to get people to invest their cash instead of leaving it in the bank to sit on it and so on. So yeah, so it is what it is. So for now, times are changing. The economy is changing for better or worse. And we need to go out there and sift through some of these bank accounts, some of their websites, and see what they're offering, see if there are any good ones out there. So this is what I'm going to do. So as I go over some of these, you're going to have to keep in mind that it's going to be highly unlikely that I find anything above like a 1% interest rate. I mean, the economy is bad out there, and making matters worse, inflation is at like a high of like 7%. So no matter what we do, and no matter what bank account we find, or what savings account we find, we're still going to be losing money because the interest that we're gaining from the savings account is still less than inflation. However, that's not the point. The point is that you have a stash of cash somewhere. You have either an emergency fund, or you're setting some money aside to invest in something else. So let's say you have like a certain amount of cash that you don't want to put in an investment someplace else to earn more interest. Then the high interest savings account is the best bang for your buck. It's the best way to not lose that much money when you compare it to inflation. And I also would like to add that keeping your money in a savings account that's paying like a 0.5 to a 1% interest rate is certainly much better than keeping it into regular bank's savings account, because they'll give you something like 0.05% interest rate. Like these normal mainstream banks like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, and so on. They'll give you like nothing, essentially nothing. So when you're seeking out other banks for high interest savings account, this is the reason why, because you can't get it in your normal bank. So I'm going to go down a list of banks, and then there's one of them, actually one of the best ones. It's quite funny, by the way. So I'm going to be going over the good and bad of a lot of these banks, but obviously I'm going to be focusing it on their interest rate and their savings account. And keep in mind that interest rates are subject to change at any moment in time, right? Hopefully they'll get better this year, but keep in mind that I could post this video today and then tomorrow they'll change, and then this video just automatically becomes outdated, right? So keep in mind they do change along with the state of the economy, but don't quote me on all these interest rates because they could just change the moment I post this. Now, the first one on my list is Discover Bank Online, which comes in at 0.5% interest, which is not too bad considering the state of the economy and every other bank out there. It's also pretty good because it doesn't have a minimum balance to maintain that rate. It doesn't have any monthly maintenance fees, doesn't have any insufficient funds fees, and doesn't have any minimum opening balance. So you're going to be pretty good if you choose Discover Bank Online. They really don't have anything hidden at all, and don't have anything you're going to otherwise regard as shady. I've personally been a long-time user of Discover, and I've never had a problem with them. At least of the Discover credit cards, right? But I've never had a problem with them. It's always a pleasure. The next bank on my list is Bank, which is, again, comes in at 0.5% interest. A good bank all around, no minimum fees, no monthly maintenance fees, and so on. They also have a 0.25% interest earning checking account, which isn't too bad either. One thing I wanted to point out with these insane interest rates with other banks, I just touched on that just before, but apparently Ally pointed on their page right there so you can have a comparison of why you should actually choose them. And look, you can see 0.01% with Bank of America, 0.01% with Chase, and 0.01 with Wells Fargo. I had said just a couple moments ago, I had said 0.05%, but it's actually worse than that. So this is absolutely insane when you think about it. Like, what is the point of even giving that interest rate to begin with? Next, we have Chime, again, with no fees, no minimum balances, coming in yet again with 0.5% interest rate. Good user interface with Chime, very good user experience. So that may be another reason why you might want to choose them. Pretty good experience. Next, we have Marcus by Goldman Sachs, which is normally a very good one, but yet again, coming in at 0.5% interest rate. They market it well on their webpage by saying their interest rates are 4 times the national average, which, yeah, may be true, but as we're seeing so far, we're among the high interest savings account banks, they're actually just quite average, because apparently they come in all the same. In addition to that, they also claim the same as most of the other banks we just talked about, with no fees and no minimum balance. And now we have American Express Savings, which yet again comes in at a 0.5% interest rate and no minimum fees and no minimum balances, like all the others. However, I would like to add in that American Express Savings has typically and historically had some of the highest interest rates of all the high interest rate savings accounts out there. It's like always been like one of the top, like having the most interest rate. But this time it's apparently it's all the same. And now finally the gods have answered us. Now we have a savings account that gives you more than a 0.5% interest rate. Coming in at just a little bit more, 0.55% interest rate is CIT Bank. Not to be confused with Citibank. I can't really find too much info about their savings accounts on their website. I guess you really need to call them. But I heard that this bank requires a large minimum balance of $20,000 or more. I can't easily confirm that on their website though. Go figure. Next, we have Redneck Bank. Okay, so this bank seems like a joke, but it's actually not. In fact, their entire website looks like a joke, but again, it's actually not a joke. And their Redneck Rewards checking account pays a whopping 0.7%, which is phenomenal. And then their Mega Money Market account pays 0.55%. A money market account, yeah, it's typically like a savings account, but here this checking account actually gives more interest than their savings account. But anywho, I mean, I just find this bank absolutely hilarious. I mean, it's crazy. Their high interest account webpage has a squirrel running a lawnmower back and forth, literally. I mean, this is nuts. I mean, here is their homepage on April Fool's Day. All right, so moving on from those rednecks. You doggy. We have the LendingClub, which has a good interest rate of 0.7%. Again, phenomenal like the rednecks, right? The only problem here is that you have to have a minimum balance of $2,500, which isn't too much, right? So $2,500, if you have less than $2,500, they're gonna pay you a measly 0.05 interest. But yeah, they're not too bad. I guess you can consider them high on the list of options to choose. And next we have Affirm Bank, which has a delightfully high 0.65 interest rate with no minimum balance and no fees. So another good one. Knock on wood that it stays that way. And then finally, last but not least, we have Bask Bank with an amazing 0.8 interest rate. So pretty good. And look, if you find another bank that has a better than a 1% interest rate, post in the comments. I want to know. I'll make a video about it. If you're finding this video this year and it's still relevant, yeah, post in the comments. But if you find it down the road in the future, a year from now, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not relevant. But if you do find it really soon, post in the comments. I want to know it. I want to let everybody else know, because it's always good to find better interest rates. They're much better than what we've been finding. Because keep in mind, inflation rate right now is so high that money in any one of these accounts will lose purchasing power over time, And in order to keep up with inflation rates, to stay ahead of the game, if you have any credit card debt that you can't afford to pay down within the next 30 days, then you really have to focus on setting up a schedule to pay that thing down, to pay it down. And then once you do that, well, then you can focus on setting up an emergency fund with these high interest savings accounts. In the beginning, available credit on your credit cards can act as your emergency fund. And then once that's paid off or near to be paid off, you can start to focus on your real emergency fund in the form of cash in one of these high interest savings accounts. You can focus on your credit card payments, or you can split it up. For example, if you can only afford $500 per month on top of your minimum monthly credit card payments, then perhaps you can do something like you can take that $500 and split it, take $400, pay it towards your credit cards, and then take $100 and put it into your savings account, just so you can have some cash available in your savings. Live your life by a design that's better than how we were taught, or perhaps not how we were taught when we were in school. Live according to your own purpose and uniqueness. You can start doing that by not burying yourself in debt. You can more easily put your gifts and talents out there into the world if you're not being weighed down by debt. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Make sure you click that like button and subscribe if you're new here, and click that bell icon in case you want more content like this. You'll know whenever I post. I post like once a week or sometimes twice a week. And other than that, I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I use that like my main social network. I post there pretty much daily. So don't forget, give me a like and check my LinkedIn link in the description below, and I will see you soon.